And welcome to Studio Day Heffrey, where we have a Cowboys final 53-man roster, which is by no means final. I think you guys probably know that, but we can talk about the why, who made it, who didn't make it, what surprises, and what is still to come with the Cowboys roster. Dun, 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 dun. Now, you guys know I am incredibly high tech in Studio Day Heffrey. I am just capable of so many modern miracles of technology. And one of those I'll share with you in a second by showing you their final 53-man roster. This presentation is brought to you by my homies at Bet Online, the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports contests and events with first to market odds and lines. You can find reviews and news for every league, including MLB, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. Did you know the Cowboys and Eagles are now co-favorites to win the NFC East because the Eagles are trying their best to win? And the Cowboys are kind of trying their best to win while trying to be incredibly fiscally responsible because that's how they roll. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join. Make that first sports bet. You can use our promo code BELIEVE50, BLEAV50 to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline where the game starts. Tell me in the chat who's going to win the NFC East. Cowboys or the Eagles? Oh, I got your inside deets. All right, here's your top secret, high quality, super badass. Jeff knows how to do really great technology things. I'm going to hit buttons that's going to show you the 53-man roster that I typed up in a spreadsheet like only I can. All right, is that showing up for you guys? It should be. Here is your 53-man roster that I have so lovely typed out for you in Google Doc form. 24 guys on offense, 28 guys on defense, and one special teamer. Now, your first clue that this is not actually your final 53 is there's no backup quarterback. But that's only your first clue because we read left to right. Otherwise, your first clue would be you don't have a kicker or a deep snapper. That's not right either. So, what are the Cowboys doing? If you have a player who's been in the NFL for at least 4 years, he is considered a vested veteran, and you can release him and he doesn't go through the waiver process. Like if they were to release, let's say, rookie corner Deron Bland and want to sign him back in 2 days, he would go through a waiver process. The rest of the league would have a chance to claim him and scoop him up on his current deal. Whereas if you've been in the league for at least 4 years and you're a vested veteran, I can cut you. You don't go through waivers and I can sign you back tomorrow. You're not exposed. There's nothing anybody can do to steal you away. So with guys like Greg Zuerlein, the Cowboys kicker, Jake McQuaid, the Cowboys deep snapper, they go to him and they say, hey, we're going to quote release you and we're going to sign you back tomorrow because we need to sneak on, let's see, who on here? James Washington made the initial 53-man roster. He ain't playing. So they're going to take James Washington. They're going to put him on PUP or IR, designated to return, whatever. And then he disappears. And, oh, my God, they signed Greg Zuerlein. And then they're going to go to who else on here is hurt and not going to play. Maybe they'll do Kelvin Joseph this way with his concussion. Well, he's going to PUP or IR designated to return. And we've signed Jake McQuaid. So they're just trying to keep why do I keep saying Zuerlein? You're right. Brett Maher. Other boy. Sorry. Idiot. It's on the screen, but can't read it. Oh, crap. Get a bigger screen. That's all I can do. Control plus so you can zoom, please. How can I? Let me just get rid of myself. What about this? No, that just enters full screen for me. Make this one full screen. Spread it out. Boom. I think that's as big as I can make it on my end. But things that we learned, I definitely mean Brett Maher when I kept saying Zuerlein. They're kickers, okay? They're kickers. Takeaways from this, once again, the Cowboys love to keep their draft picks. Love to keep their draft picks. So like Deron Bland, 5th-round pick, made it. Devin Harper, 5th-round pick, linebacker, made it. John Ridgeway, 5th-round pick defensive tackle, made it. Matt Waletzko made it. One of those I put in the wrong round, or did they have 4 or 5s? They might have 4 or 5s. So they got their draft picks. They want to make the team. I need to look real quick. Did every single draft pick make it? Because they had 4 undrafted free agents make their team, which that is pretty darn impressive too. And that's one of the things about the Cowboys. There's a takeaway for you from their 53-man roster. And this isn't just their roster. This is across the NFL. The 2 teams in the NFL over the last however many years, I forgot what the sample size was, but this is what the Cowboys do really, really well. You see the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson trade, where the Eagles just got another good player. They traded for a safety from the Saints because they couldn't work out a long-term deal in New Orleans. The Eagles will aggressively go add players, and a lot of teams will do that. The Cowboys aren't usually like that. What they do better than almost anyone is scout and draft. So the Cowboys, as of before this last wave of cuts, the Cowboys and the Ravens are number 1 and 2 in football in the number of people that they originally either drafted or signed that were still fighting for NFL roster spots somewhere as of like yesterday. So it's the Ravens and the Cowboys over the last 4 or 5 years, whatever the sample size was, that they do the best job of identifying and picking, signing the talent. Even if they don't end up making their team, they end up making somebody's team later on. They're very good at it. Was Devin Harper cut? I don't believe Devin Harper was cut, Donnie. Let me do a little double check here. No, he made it. Devin Harper didn't get cut. What are you trying to do? Any interesting or surprising O-linemen that were cut today? Our O-line makes me as nervous as a cat with a long tail and a room full of rocking chairs, from Jason. No, so on the offensive line, what the Cowboys did is they kept everybody that's even close to an NFL player. Josh Ball, I'd be terrified to have in an NFL game. Matt Waletzko, I'd be terrified to have in an NFL game, although I think he was better than Josh Ball, even in his little bit of preseason. So, no, he was not cut yesterday. He's on the team. This is the 53-man. This is their initial 53-man right in front of you. 8 receivers. So Dennis Houston made it. Simi Fehoko made it. Cavante Turpin made it. All those dudes have made the team because James Washington will not be playing. Michael Gallup will not be playing. Michael on YouTube in the chat, did they cut CJ Goodwin? Yes. That goes back to CJ Goodwin has been in the NFL long enough that they released him. He didn't make the team. But tomorrow, they're going to sign him back, because what they're going to do is they're going to take 3 or 4 guys on here. They're going to put them on IR or the physically unable to perform list. That'll be James Washington, probably not Gallup, maybe somebody they'll find in the D-line room they can do this with, maybe Ridgeway. Maybe they will use Kelvin Joseph because he had a head injury, stuff like that. And that's how they'll bring back their special teamers if they want to, is they will have guys who are hurt or guys who are actually hurt. And that's what we do. Honest opinion about Tyler. Oh, yeah, Tyron Smith, obviously. Tyron Smith will go onto some sort of list. And that's the thing. It's not just their special teamers that they still have to put on. Why did they cut Maher if they're going to resign him before week 1? So that's just how the NFL works. So the Cowboys, this is their way of keeping 58 guys instead of 53, because Tyron Smith has to make the team. If you cut Tyron Smith because of his contract, he's got guaranteed money all over the place. And so the guys who have been in the league long enough, at least 4 years, that don't have multi-year deals with signing bonuses spread out all over the place that you can just release. They don't go through waivers. Nobody can claim them. You just go to them and say, hey, look, you'll be back tomorrow, okay? And they go, okay, no problem. That's CJ Goodwin. That's Brett Maher. That's Jake McQuaid, the deep snapper. All those guys, they're, quote, not on the team. They're on the team. They'll be back tomorrow. They're just using this to get guys onto the team, put them on injured reserve or the physically unable to perform list or whatever, which will free those spots right back up for their special teamers that they'll bring right back in. They're also going to bring in offensive linemen from somewhere. At least one. Because this group ain't good enough. They need to bring in a tackle, because otherwise Matt Waletzko is on the doorstep of playing, which I think Matt Waletzko might actually, and how do you not say his name? Waletzko. He may actually turn into an NFL offensive lineman. I kind of like him. Josh Ball, I doubt. People asking about Alex Leatherwood being cut. Maybe. I know he's disappointed so far, but I mean, that's toolsy enough that I'm at least interested. Brandon Smith, he's going to go to the practice squad. Dennis Houston will maybe end up being cut and moved to the practice squad once somebody maybe Gallup gets back. So all sorts of things are going to happen. All things are going to happen. It's going to be all sorts of wild stuff. So that's your temporary 53-man roster that's going to change when they bring back their special teams guys and move people to injured lists. And it's also going to change when wide receivers get healthy and come back to the team. Then somebody else is going to get let go. And it's also going to change when they go through the waiver wire of people being cut from other teams and add offensive linemen. Oh, and they still have to bring back Cooper Rush and or Will Grier. So a lot of dudes have to be moved to different lists. So there's that. Sure, bring me Josh Gordon. That'd be fun. I like that. I hope my guy Malik Davis makes it to the practice squad. I hope nobody claims him because I like him. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that they released that I just hope makes it to the practice squad. I think Brandon Smith will make it, no problem. The wide receiver, number 80. Malik Davis, we'll see. He's a running back, so there's a decent chance. Most teams have a practice squad running back that they like, but he had a really good camp and a really good preseason. Maybe somebody steals him. Michael, I appreciate you in the super chat. I don't get to listen to you live enough, but keep it up with the great content. It's great to be a fan of a team with such great analysis available. Oh, thank you. Appreciate you, Michael. Malik Turner was released. Oh, Story Jackson might be who the other guy was thinking about, not Devin Harper. Devin Harper made it. Their draft picks make it. That's what they do. Preston Williams cut today. Do you know if we liked him? I don't know if they liked him, but he is a dude that could line up and play X if you had to. If you had to. Both the undrafted free agent centers got released. Empke and Lindstrom. TJ Vasher got released. Tyler Coyle got released. Damone Clark is going to be, what's that called? The NFI list, non-football injury, or he's on the roster. Well, not the 53 man. He's not on the active roster, but he is on the team. He will still be here. He just gets to be designated in a different way because he will not be playing probably this year at all, but definitely in the first 6 to 8 weeks. And that's your roster. Let me close it out from being full screen. Hi, I'm back. Column could be cuts or likely to return. Oh, yeah, I guess I could have done that. Thoughts on the tight end group after the cut? Kind of fun. The tight ends, they're just going to roll with Dalton Schultz and 2 youngsters. And I tell you what, for the long term, it makes me more and more certain that it's real possible. Their plan is Dalton Schultz this year and then Dalton Schultz walk and Jake Ferguson. Because for Peyton Hendershot, an undrafted free agent as a rookie, to be trusted as your third tight end, they like him. So that you got 2 rookies lining up for real life playing time there and special teams work. What has Donovan Wilson done this offseason? Why is he getting a hall pass? Because he's their number 3 safety. Nobody's cutting their number 3 safety. He ran a whole bunch with ones in camp, and he looked fine. I want Coyle back. That's another dude that could have made it as a special teamer that could play some defense. Do you think Donovan Wilson will make it to the end of the season? Is there somebody out there talking crap about Donovan Wilson that I'm missing? Like, what is it that is making people turn on Donovan Wilson? He's fine. The dude's a fine NFL player. Golston did make it. Chauncey Golston made it. Your defensive line has 11 guys that made it. Your edge guys, Tank, Dorrance, Sam Williams, Dante Fowler, Terrell Basham. Your D tackles, Odigizua, Neville Gallimore, Chauncey Golston, Quentin Bohanna, Tristan Hill, John Ridgway, and Parsons, if you count him. Denzel Mims, please. Sure. Who on the 53 that should be worried about being cut if they claim anyone? Dennis Houston, Josh Ball, or maybe they would just use Waletzko they would claim his shoulder as an injury and put him on IR. Rico Dowdle, maybe Nashawn Wright, maybe Luke Gifford or John Ridgway. Jeff, I want people to like this video instead of worrying about Wilson. I like that, Eric. O-line is a dumpster fire. Prove me wrong, please. I hope they prove us all wrong. Did Dak did make the team, Brandon? Yes, he sure did. Thank you for asking. So there you go. 53 dudes made the football team for now until they claim guys. What do you know about Chuma Edoga? That's a guy that the Cowboys yesterday, at least, were rumored to be talking about a trade with. And then 10 minutes later, were rumored to not be making a trade. My understanding from people who write about the Jets and know about the Jets is that that is an offensive tackle who is awful. And so they were like, man, if anyone gives up anything for him, that would be amazing. Will they go after any of the O-line people released? I hope so. Jeff is a top 2 YouTuber, and he's not number 2. Love that. OJ Howard from Freddie on Facebook. So the thing with OJ Howard is he really never lived up to what people hoped he would be. And I was one of the guys that fell for it at Alabama, even though he didn't ever have a bunch of production, that I was like, oh yeah, that dude can play. And he never really took off in the NFL. And I think it was an Achilles that he's never even been the same as he was before that. Since then, it just seems like OJ Howard might be at the end here. Are we cutting any D lineman of note? Carlos Watkins would be the only D lineman of note, right? There's nobody else of note. Carlos Watkins did not make the original 53. He kept 11 D linemen. He is not one of them. All right. Jeff, are you watching House of the Dragon? I am. Yes, of course. And I like it. And I'm looking forward to the Rings of Power, the Lord of the Rings prequel that'll be coming out on, what day is that? Friday? This Friday? Maybe I can't take a road trip this weekend. Maybe I have to stick around for that show because Dave and I have to do Tolkien Cowboys, where we give one cowboy opinion and then talk about the Rings of Power. Did we cut anyone you wish we didn't? Malik Davis, I like him, but he's also would have been your 3rd running back or 4th running back, so it's really not that big a deal, but I like him. All right, team. There you go. 53-man roster. Suck it, world. Remember, you have no idea what anyone is going through, so be cool to everyone. Shout out to my guys at Bet Online. I love